Live, and there we are. The red has come on, and Mike has deployed a new browser from yesterday. Is that right? You've made the browser work differently to make it easier to see. What is this? Please tell me what this is.
You can't see what that is?
I can see it kind of, but
It's my birthday gift.
oh yes, happy birthday, Mike.
You know what? I could get them $10 and a $5 coupon cheaper through Amazon.
Okay.
But I thought I would rather go somewhere like Best Buy or somewhere, an electronics place.
Sure.
And if for some reason they're not working, you just walk back in the door and go, hey, wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
So I sent the other ones back. And I just did Ray Reid at Best Buy. I was like, okay. And I do this everywhere. The band used to always laugh at me because I got us motel rooms so cheap. Me and friends used to go down to Tunica to the casinos.
Yes.
Man, I could get us rooms so cheap. You just got to know how to go about it.
Right.
And the guy at Best Buy, I go, yeah, I want some. I go, now I want the second generation. What it is, the first generation was basic AirPod. Second generation, you can get the case that you set down on a wireless charger if you want, or you can just plug the case in and it takes a charge itself. So for something like $70 extra, you can get the little case that you lay down. So for $70, I can plug it in each time. Okay. So I'm in there and I asked the guy, well, I tell you what. And I said, I want to make sure these are generation 2. And I said, is she a manager? Yeah. I said, well, ask her. And he asked her, and I already knew what the model number was for generation 2.
Right.
And she goes, oh, those are generation 1. The generation 2 is when you can get the rechargeable thing. And I thought, I know more than you, and you're the manager. Because I already knew what and the guy, and I said, don't you match? Because I was going to just order these from Amazon because I can save, well, $15 with a coupon, but basically matching price $10.
Right.
He goes, I think I can do that as long as they're sold by Amazon. Click, he types, and then he's like, wait, there, now I'm typing. No, there I'm typing. Anyway, here I'm typing.
You're fine.
So anyway, he's like, yeah, I can do that. I cannot. So they were the same price as Amazon's, only I walked right into Best Buy and got them, And so that was good. I didn't dream that Best Buy would, because they were already on sale, and I didn't dream they would knock the price down anymore. And so I told the guy, now, are you going to reduce these down any for Valentine's Day? Because if you are, I'm coming back in and getting the extra money back.
Right.
He goes, if we drop them down anymore, yeah, you've got a couple of weeks to match. Okay. And so anyway, I felt pretty good because I would have rather, hey, $15 is $15. I'd rather saved it, but I wasn't going to get them here till either Monday the 8th, which is MRI day, or Tuesday, which is something else I have to do, or Wednesday, which is my birthday. They weren't going to come in till one of those days. I'm like, I want them now. So, and listen, I had my meeting with my doctor today. I got to get my checkup in case somebody that cares is watching.
We all care. We all care about you.
And my little hole that used to be like that.
Right.
Now it's getting like that.
Awesome. Heal it.
And he's got these little white things around it. They look like the Abominable Snowman teeth. They look like little white teeth all around it, but it's skin. And he told me that's dead skin with moisture in it. And he says we got to end up getting rid of those because those are blocking some of the healing.
Right.
So he had some kick-ass tweezers and little kick-ass scissors. They were small enough I knew he wouldn't cut my leg off. So I'm like, yeah, okay. And he had his nurse there, and he was just cutting a lot of those off of my foot. And I'm like, that's kind of gross. But both the nurses are like, oh man, Mike, this is looking really good. They go, we remember when you came here, it was bad. Right, so I told the doctor, he said, well, how are you doing on today? I said, I try to stay upbeat, but I've been a little depressed. Well, what about? I go on that thing that's called an MRI. That kind of scares me. He goes, you're going to go in there and do that because we want to see if there's any infection there.
Right.
If there is, I'll know what kind of antibiotics to get going on that. And then we'll probably put it in one of these hydro chamber things that sucks all the oxygen out and everything. And which he'd already told me how expensive those were. Gee whiz. And, something like $2,000 each time you do it or something like that. Oh, it's ridiculous. But I said, it just worries me because this all started back 1st of September, and MRI was kind of what started, we're going to chop your leg off. Yes. And he looked at me and he said, I guarantee you we are not taking your leg. There ain't no leg coming off. I said, that's all I need to hear.
Well, that's amazing news for the weekend, definitely.
It's pretty amazing news. And I tell you, for some people that tune into this and who the heck is Mike Reed and all this stuff, I just want to say a couple of things.
Sure.
I grew up around here playing music.
You say a lot of things. A couple more will be fine.
and I played a lot in a lot of bands, but what I wanted to say that was important. Okay. I moved to Nashville, and I had a very successful career there for 22, 23, 24 years, right, which moved into being an entertainment company where I did anywhere from performing to DJ to MC to audio visual, just a lot of stuff in Nashville. At one time in Nashville, I was probably in the top 3 DJ type people in the whole city.
Right.
And I played a lot of places, but the reason I'm back in the Ozarks, and this is what I want people to know, this is why we're on here. This is why Dale's hooked up with me and Dale doing some cool stuff. Uh-huh. One thing, my dad that we talk about a lot, before he died, he said, I always wanted to hear you and see you play one more time, at least one more time. Uh-huh. We didn't get to. And so I'm sitting in Nashville. Uh-huh. I can either go to Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg, where I was at the Hatfields and McCoy show, right, or I can come back to the Ozarks where I'm from. Bottom line is, I'm an entertainer. My mom grew up in the Ozarks. This is where my mom's from. She turned 89. And I came back here because my dad's watching every day of what I do. And right, he will hear me perform for people again. Exactly. And I brought my mom back because it's her home. And it might add 10 years onto her life or something to be back.
The stuff you've done about your mom and dad, those songs and everything else are so good, and they need to be heard by more people. That's another point that I want to emphasize. Those are good songs.
Yeah, well, what I was just stressing to anybody that happened to tune in and watch this, there's a big reason why I'm back here. Right. And I would say it's probably my mom and my dad. That's what brought me back here. I could have just stayed in Nashville and kept doing what I was doing. Right. I'm not a selfish person, but I wanted to get back here where I could perform for people, whether they're 5-year-old or 95 years old.
And build something bigger than just you. That's the thing. Build something that could go other places and have multi locations, shall we say that.
And that's stuff I've worked on for a few years. And once I started chatting to you about it, you kind of went nuts over it and grew a beard.
I did.
And we think we're really on to something. And as soon as the right person hears, as soon as we can, lack of better words, pitch, but as soon as we can get the investors, that want to be in the Ozarks, in the Branson area, and they hear this, I don't think we'll have any problem with somebody giving it a shot.
Right.
Because it's a, it's a good thing. But I just want anybody to know that there was a lot of thought. I didn't just pack up a truck and come back to Branson. No, there was a lot of thought in it, and it wasn't about me. I'm not playing right now. I'm fine with it. I'm back here because I'm going to do the things, and my mom's going to be happy about it, and my dad's going to look down and wink. I mean, I don't know. We different people have done this probably. I've had my dad in my sleep come down and sit by me on a park bench.
Without a doubt.
And I'd be like, "What are you doing here? You passed away." He goes, "I'm gone, but I'm here. I see everything you're doing every day." And I've had those times when I've talked to him like that. I totally believe in things like that. It's just like meeting Steve down at the playing music.
Sure.
Steve has, I won't say taught, but Steve has showed me his thought and his path to religion.
Right.
Not even,
right. Not religion. You want a relationship with God. That's what you want.
And I will go down where Steve is to his cowboy church this Sunday.
Wonderful.
I'll go down and see it and be part of it, sit and enjoy it.
It's awesome.
Because he's been very kind to me and he asked me to.
Right.
And at this point in my life, it doesn't hurt at all. I mean, it doesn't hurt any time. But there are a lot of people, I put a little thing on Facebook, want some prayers. Everybody does.
Sure.
I was just saying, basically, if you think about me, I'm trying to get through some tough stuff here. So, in saying that, I'm having a good day, I guess.
Well, that's pretty fantastic. That's really cool. I've had good days. It's been a very good day. I did not get to speak to the people in Aurora yet because they're still dealing with their COVID situation. And so they'll come back to us. But I'm just saying all this stuff is going really well. And it's really good to see just the growth day by day and week by week since we started this thing. It's really, really heartening, shall we say.
Well, we're hooking up with a lot of people. I'm meeting people that you knew and meeting people that knew me. And it's all I've got to say, as goofy and stupid as I act on here, I'm quite the business person. I mean, it's like I told people, I'm a private pilot. Now, I haven't flown in a long time. And I used to, back in the day, have people tell me, I would not get in an airplane with you. But I was a very good pilot. On my written score, I think I had a 98 or something like that. It's the hardest test I ever took. I'm sure you took a few that are every bit as that hard or harder. But I'm very serious about what I'm doing. And Dale's very serious about what we're doing. And if you could just look behind these two faces and see where we're at, if you're out there and you really seriously want to do something that hasn't been done in this area, and you want this to advance, and we're looking at this, we want to do our thing, and then we want to spread it around the country some.
Yes.
I mean, we want more than
this ties into the podcasting stuff. Everything kind of ties together. That's what I like about it. Clearly.
Yeah, it's I can't stress how much, if you're out there and you know some investors, I always don't use the right words, but investors, I mean, let's face it, to have a theater, to have a building, to have seats in it, to have sound systems, to have lighting, to have a stage, to do the marketing and all, it takes some money doing it, but the payback can be very big. I see so many shows down here that just try to, well, let's put 10 people on stage and put a name up on the sign and let's do a music show.
Right.
And they're here 6 months and they move away because the people can drive down the strip and there's 25 other ones just like it. I mean, there's yeah. So this is I was last few nights on TV. I've watched some reality TV stuff. Just paying attention to how big reality TV is now.
Exactly.
And if you get anybody that says, "Well, they used to do some stuff kind of like that around here," well, then they're crazy, because if they quit doing it is all I got to say. All I say is they open the door up for us doing something. Yeah.
I would just add to that so much of this is about timing and the pandemic and everything going out and people changing and people being afraid. It's a good time to start a concept and help people see the bright side in life.
Yeah, it is. And I think unless the country gets shut down again, which we really don't know, since things, not getting political, but I'm just saying, since things have changed now, you don't know what new will come in and what won't.
What's good and what's bad, right?
So we really don't know. I mean, we did know where it was heading. Our ex-president, he put the speed up on it to get the vaccines out there. Okay. He did what he needed to do. Now, if this can all continue on and we can stop this virus stuff,
right?
I think once it slows down enough where people aren't getting it, I think this town will explode this summer.
Me too.
I really do. I think because as I say, right outside my door is Hollywood Wax Museum with their miniature golf course there.
You're not a big miniature golf fan, are you?
Man, if it's above 40 degrees out, that place is packed out. I mean, people are like, and I'm like, are you people really playing miniature golf? Wherever you're from, do you not have miniature golf somewhere? Are you just doing it because you're looking for something to do?
Right.
And that's it. Now there's other things that have went in down here, but it's down here is pretty much into the, let's do a show, let's put 25 people on stage and sing, let's put a restaurant in, let's put a flea market in, right. And that's and some go-karts. I mean, there's so much more that can be done. I'm sure Jack Hershon and all, I'm sure out Silver Dollar City, they're just fine with the way things are right now, but it's yeah, you get days like this. It's cold out, but it's sunny.
It's coming. It's coming.
You start getting the fever a little bit, and yeah. And I'm looking forward to going down to the Cowboy Church Sunday, and
that's awesome.
I think we've talked to a lot of people in the last couple of weeks,
right?
And if you're out there,
we want to have you on if you want to talk to Mike.
Yeah, and sometimes people are like, who's coming on tonight? Oh, Darren or Daryl.
We're doing that later. That's not on the show, but that's later tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he actually wants to talk to us about some of the stuff we're doing.
Right.
A lot of people in life are kind of in a rut, and they're afraid to take that step and get out of that rut.
Right.
Yeah, this is, I have a friend that lives over by West Plains, and she was wanting to start a little show a few years ago. And she said she had a friend that owned like 10 supermarkets, and she had all the money that she needed. Right. And she wanted Big Mike to write up a proposal.
Uh-huh.
So he said, I'll write you up 3 proposals, one for, this much, right. And this, and let's see. And she all of a sudden she didn't want to do it anymore. So I don't think there was any guy that owned, 10 grocery stores.
Right.
Business. If you know anything about business, let's just say you need $500,000 from somebody. I mean, I don't even know. It could be 100,000, it could be a million, whatever. I'm just saying. Let's just say you need a big chunk of money, and you know this well. To these people that invest in things to make, that's how they make money, and that's just a number on a piece of paper for them.
Sure.
That don't mean anything. I mean, 500,000 don't mean anything any different than 10,000 than does a million. I mean, it's just all business, and there are plenty investors, and we're just trying to jump the gun on this because we don't want somebody else to find out about this, because if the right investor found out about what we're trying to do, well, he'd either be getting a hold of us or taking it from us,
Right.
So it gets into business.
Us, we got it.
Yeah. Now, if my dad was here, we would have the investors, because back in the day where the Apple Tree Mall is, it's kind of down in behind where the movie theaters used to be.
Yes.
That whole big area. And we came down, 3 families. One guy was a CPA. Well, there's 3 of us. And my dad, through car dealerships and money and this and that, he had the money for us to go ahead and get that. And we were going to do, it was going to be called the Way Out West Saloon. It was just going to kind of like go to Silver Dollar City and do the saloon show, but only it's going to be big.
Right.
And we had to be careful how we was going to do it, because we didn't want to infringe on Silver Dollar City. But yeah, we were down here. We were down here several times, and we had the money to go ahead and do it. And actually, that place, the foundation is all cracked in the back of it. And we just backed out of it because they said, well, yeah, it's going to be okay. Well, the back of that place just is a billy goat mountain. And
Right.
when your foundation's cracked back there, yeah, you, I don't know. But yeah, if you ever watch any of this show, me and Dale are very serious about what we're doing here, and everything we do. All the people he has on indirectly are in our playbook here for what we're doing.
And just kind of to talk about the fun stuff that we got to do growing up in a town that is kind of a bygone way of life. I really love talking about Crane and in this area as much too.
Well, it's kind of like Don Johnson came from here, Donnie Wayne. And it's like nobody would ever thought he was ever going to be anybody or do anything.
Right.
A lot of times it's people from a little small town because they didn't grow up big where everything's right there. They grew up smaller, and they got the dream that they were trying to do. I watched some new stuff on YouTube last night of wrestler. Was it Colton or
Colton? Yes.
Yeah, some new stuff of him that I was watching that he put on, and considering he's still in the amateur thing, doing it. He's pretty smart. I think he'll do well.
Like I said, he's going to be big too, and that's so fun. But yeah, I really think that I want to just emphasize that all this stuff is going really well. But I also want to say that tonight at 5, I have the 5 at 5 with a band called the Menace Brothers. They're from St. Louis, and they're kind of making some noise. And so I really want to see what they're doing too, and hear about them and do some live music from them.
I saw last night where they were going to be on here today.
Right.
And they've kind of got the look that fits right in right now with what's happening.
They sound a lot like the Black Keys. They're very similar to the Black Keys.
They very much are.
Yes.
And like I told you, the band in Nashville that came out a couple years ago, I forgot their name. Anyway, they all came out with the longer hair and the big mustaches and the black cowboy hats, and they all had red guitars, and they all dressed like in cowboy suits, but their stuff was just rocking. I can't even believe I forgot who they are. But anyway, they've done a lot, but you know what? They did it. The music was good. but they were something fresh and different. It was different.
Right.
And that drew people to it.
That's a big part of this.
Well, look at like people like Lady Gaga, whether you like her or not.
I'm a big fan. I like her stuff, definitely.
When she got a chance, she went for it. And the story on her getting started, what was it? They played somewhere in LA or somewhere, and she figured out they wore bathing suits.
Right.
Or something, they draw more people. So she's been a person in her career that had no boundaries.
Right.
She just went for it. And the people that have done that have done, back in the day, Billy Ray Cyrus, he didn't care if people thought he looked like a stripper and did his little dance and all. He didn't care. It made him so much money. And
not only that, his daughter has been a huge hit as well.
Yeah. She well, like I said, I got to meet her and Billy Ray and stuff whenever they were doing the Hannah Montana movie, because that's where I was the house DJ at a place called Smiley Hollow, and just outside of Nashville. And they were both there. Billy Ray was so funny. He was like, "Hey man, so you're the DJ out there? Are you gonna DJ while we're here?" "No." I go, "You're the dad here, aren't you?" "Yeah, I guess you can say that. Yeah, I'm just watching after my daughter, making sure she don't get in trouble." And they were fun, but Disney came in there and just rearranged everything. And it was pretty neat to see how they did it.
No doubt about it. I just remember the things of like watching the stuff on CSI and how differently they would set things up and tear them down in 2 days.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Like I said, Bruce Richardson, a friend of yours, Bruce.
Right.
And Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. I mean, he worked for Lance Burton all the years Lance was there, 15, 16, 17, till Lance retired. And now Bruce works for Mandalay Bay. He's in charge of any event, the lighting and the sound being set up. So whoever's in charge of that company, they got to report to Bruce. Bruce says, "Okay, you can load in at 4:00 this afternoon. You can load in at 4:00 in the morning. The show's at 8:00 tonight. By 5:00 in the afternoon, you have to check with me and tell me everything's ready."
Right.
And that's what Bruce does. I go, "You don't lift anything or anything?" "Nope. I just got," and I tell him, "As long as you do a good job, there's a good chance I'm going to call you back for the next concert or the next women's basketball we have." Or whatever.
I want to have Bruce on this show as well. Definitely.
I think Bruce, Bruce is a good friend of mine. But he's so shy. And when all this time he was with Lance Burton, I'm like, everybody, I'm like, "So you know Carrot Top?" "Yeah, I've met him." I go, "You know Penn and Teller?" "Yeah, I've been out their house to a few barbecues." Right. I go, "Did you know Siegfried and Roy?" "Yeah." Because everybody would come see Lance Burton, and Bruce was the guy. Bruce was in charge of making all the magic work for Lance. There's time when Lance would come off the stage, take a little piece of paper, write, "This isn't working right," hand it to Bruce. He'd tell him, "Make sure this is working by tomorrow." And Lance was a cool guy. Lance was saving money everywhere he could. Lance cut his hair all those years with a Flowbee. One of those. That's what he did, Mr. Multi-million-dollar, and he drove an older Corvette.
Oh.
And Lance, I met Lance. I visited. I knew everybody in the show out there. I had a blast because when I went out there, I wasn't in a show, but I got to hang out with all the people that were in the show.
Absolutely.
And Bruce got me the stagehand, the jumpsuit that has Lance Burton all written stitched in on the back. And nobody had those unless you were in the show. And Bruce got me one day. He said, Bruce was funny. He goes, "Now don't be wearing that around anywhere." And I'm like, "Yeah, where am I going to wear it, to Crane or something?" So.
Well, it is once again 4:30 and deep in rubber. Always fun to have Mike on here.
30 more seconds.
Okay. Well,
25.
Then fill it up, Mike. Take us home.
Take us home. I just want to tell everybody, please tune in every day at 4 o'clock, 4 to 4:30.
Friday at 4 o'clock. Yes.
Yeah, me and Dale are on here, and Volazanius and goofiness that you see me singing and doing. I'm a very serious person when it comes to the business.
Right.
And so's Dale. And we're working on some very cool stuff. And you might want to be involved in it if you're out there. Don't be afraid to jump in.
Once again, thank you.